Goblin Slayer Season 2 focuses on the adventures of a diverse party comprising various races and genders from fantasy lore. The main protagonist is determined to eradicate the goblin race entirely throughout the land. Goblin Slayer Season 2 thoughts. Goblin Slayer Season 2 is a disappointment, as it seems to be a repetitive portrayal of the same content, albeit on a smaller scale reminiscent of Tolkien's works. The first episode serves as a recap, reminding viewers of the shocking events from Season 1, where a group of goblins attacked and violated a novice party, leaving only the priestess as the sole survivor. Despite the traumatic experience, the priestess has now grown more confident in her prayers and divine abilities. The party consists of the same characters from the previous season, including the elf, the dwarf, the lizard man, the priestess, and the central character, the Goblin Slayer, aka Beard Cutter, aka Orkball, the Goblin Slayer. The party even takes on the task of training children to slay goblins, which in turn puts targets on their backs. While most people are already on the goblins' hit list, it becomes even riskier if you are weak and still want to fight. Some of the children end up getting obliterated by the goblins who hurl boulders from trees. However, the designated team manages to save the young comrades. The goblins and scenery in this season bear a resemblance to those in The Lord of the Rings. In one of the episodes, it's an ambush on the waterfront where the party must defend themselves against goblins mounted on giant wolves, and later a goblin riding a giant dinosaur which was mistaken for an elephant. The only thing missing to make it almost identical to The Lord of the Rings is the presence of giant trees joining the battle. The mentioned goblin encounters have nothing to do with the main story but serve as a subplot involving the Elf Ranger Scout's sister getting married and encountering goblins along the way. This season has become so diluted as it includes a scene where the female characters, after a fierce battle, decide to relax by putting on bikinis and playing in the creek. This is definitely the cheap beach episode gimmick. As of writing this, I'm currently on the 8th episode of the show, and I have to say, I'm not enjoying it as much. It feels like it's still living in the shadow of Season 1 and hasn't really expanded on the action and goblin slaying that we previously witnessed. The presence of goblin shamans and noob goblins is still prevalent, and the special boss this time around was a troll. What disappointed me was that the music used to defeat the troll was the same music used in Season 1 to battle the much larger, more menacing ogre. It didn't quite capture the same level of threat and epicness. I believe the studio wanted to capture the attention of the general audience who initially hyped it up, but they seem to be nowhere to be found. There is hardly any mention of this in the anime community, as everyone is busy discussing the new series of the season. This particular season seems to lack focus, with storylines jumping from training new fighters to visiting the elf world for a marriage, and even casually slaying goblins for no apparent reason. The plot is unclear to me at this time, making the series feel somewhat pointless to watch. Goblin Slayer Season 2 is a 1 out of 10.